Hello guys, it's Business Monday. This is Ejiro Sagede, aka your energetic EJ, and this is a segment on the Afrocentrist podcast called Business Monday, where I get to talk to business people who are creating solutions, services, or products for other businesses. Okay, so it's B2B here, right? It will be coming to you every other Monday on the Afrocentrist podcast. You don't want to miss it. And if you are watching this and you have a solution or a product or a service for other businesses, then you want to connect with me so that I can feature you on the podcast. I mean, we need this information to go around, don't we? So don't miss it every other Monday on the Afrocentrist podcast. It's your girl, the energetic EJ, signing out. See you on Mondays. Bye. Hello and welcome to yet another episode on the Afrocentrist podcast and this segment, Business Monday. I am the energetic EJ and I'm so delighted to be here again today. So today on the show, I have somebody on the show. Let me tell you a quick story how I got to meet this person, or I got to know of this person, and then I met him a couple of months later, or weeks later actually, and then today we are having this segment together. So sometime early this year, I think early 2022, in my mastermind, I have a mastermind, and in that mastermind, one of the members there shared a particular write-up, and the write-up was about networking. And so I saw it and I loved it. It was a long, letter, it felt like a newsletter or like a broadcast, right? And I'm like, I love this. So I took it and I recorded it. I recorded the audio version of it and then I sent it out. And then the responses just kept coming. Even in my mastermind, they were like, Adrian, this is so beautiful. I have to send this to Dr. Laide. I'm like, okay, please go ahead. Initially, even when I did it the first time, I thought it was a woman. And so when I did this, I said it was a woman. And then one of my mastermind members came and said, no, Dr. Laide is actually a male. I'm like, oh God, I have to record it again. So I had to go do that part again where I mentioned a she instead of a he. And so I did it and I sent it out. And the responses kept coming. I'm like, guys, it's not my content. It's Dr. Laide's content. But they were like, no, your voice brought life to it and all of that. And so my mastermind members, sent the audio to Dr. Laide, and so he sent back his response like, wow, this is great and all of that. Then the next thing is she's like, Dr. Laide is coming to Dubai. I'm like, are you serious? I have to meet him. And that was how one way or the other we got to meet in Dubai. And then, we just got to meet and we hung out for a bit. And so a couple of weeks later, he's like, hi, Ejiro, I'm coming back to Dubai soon. I'm like, okay, this time around, you have to come on my show. And here we are today on the show. So thank you so much, Dr. Laide. So before I bring him on, let me just quickly tell you a little bit. Who is Dr. Laide Okubena? Dr. Laide Okubena is a top-selling realtor and multi-award-winning influential leader. He's the business development manager of the Africa's #1 real estate brokerage, Billionaire Realtors Group, with over 65,000 and counting members. He's an alumni of the prestigious Lagos Business School and London Metropolitan School of Business and the University of Lagos, Akoka. He is also a certified life and business coach and inspirational and motivational speaker. He is a real estate investment expert who is also traveled internationally for conference and international events from Dubai, Kolkatta, Chennai, Mumbai, Qatar, Kigali, Accra, and still counting. Maybe he's going to come to your country soon, so watch out for that. He is also a naturopathic doctor and acupuncturist who studied in India and Sri Lanka in the International Open University of Complementary Medicine. So you can see that is a big deal. That's why I'm so excited today. And guess what we're talking about? You have heard in his profile already that he's a real estate mogul, right? So I want to see, how can SME benefit from real estate? You're a small business owner. You're thinking like, I don't have money to buy land. This million they are calling. How am I going to afford it? But what we want to talk about today is that there is a way for you to plug into real estate, even though you don't have that huge chunk of money right now. So if you're an SME owner, you're a business owner, you're a freelancer, you're a solopreneur, whatever you are, you're on a small scale growing, but you want to plug into real estate, then this episode is for you. Better draw your screen closer, or you plug in your ear right now, take away every form of distraction so that you can learn one or two things on how, from where you are right now, you can actually start to leverage real estate. All right. So if this is your first time on the Afrocentrist podcast, you are welcome. I don't know why it took you so long for you to discover us, but I'm glad that you are here today. So while you are here, if you're watching on YouTube right now, click on the subscribe button and subscribe. But if you're listening to me, whether on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Stitcher, Breaker, wherever it is you're listening from, then do rate us on that platform. Give us a 5-star or 3-star or 1-star. If it's 1 star you think that we deserve, that's okay. Shall give us a star or give us 5 stars, okay? Give us a review, share with your friends and family. Let them know that this platform has great content for your personal development. This is why we exist, for your personal development, okay? Now, this is about the time that you can grab your cup of coffee, your cup of tea, or your bottle of water and sit back, relax. Let us dive into the conversation today. How can SMEs benefit from real estate? And I will be right back with my guest. Okay, welcome to the show, Dr. Laide Okubena. How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Awesome. So good to have you on the show.
Yeah, it's a pleasure being here too. I'm looking forward to this.
to the discussion. Yeah. How has your trip been so far in Dubai?
Wow, it's been beautiful. It's been amazing. We've learned. We came for a 2 days conference. Yeah, Monday, Tuesday. I got my certification. Yeah, then we've met a lot of people, different people from different countries, different cultures. Yeah, and it's a mind shifting experience.
Yeah. Fantastic. I like that you enjoyed your aid, and so far the conference you came for has been successful. Now let us come into the conversation of the day. Like today we're talking about how can SMEs benefit from real estate. I mean, you've been hearing real estate here and there, and sometimes, we just kind of, for SMEs, for small businesses, for even freelancers, people who are self-employed, solopreneurs, they just shut their minds out like, this thing is not for me. I don't have the funds yet, so I can't even think about it. But I was having a conversation before we started to record with Dr. Laide here, that is there a way that SMEs, people who cannot afford large chunk of money to invest in real estate, is there a way that they can actually plug into real estate? And it's like, yes, there are actually a couple of ways. And those are the ways that we want to talk about on the show today. So Dr. Laide, how can SMEs, small business owners, solopreneurs, individuals who are unable to afford large chunks of money to get a real estate property, for example, how can they tap into real estate? Because real estate is one of the surest way to invest right now. So how can they be a part of it, even though they can't really afford large amount of money?
Okay, I think I'll mention like 4 to 5 ways SMEs can key into properties. The first one that I'll mention is there's payment plan. Payment plan is one of the ways to make it easy for an investor or an SME looking to own a piece of property, because they may not have the full bulk of the amount. Payment plan, there are some payment plan that goes from as little as 6 months, 12 months, to even there are some payment plan that extends to 8 years. Some 10 years, you can pay over for a long period of time. You pay your initial down deposit and you spread payment over time. Some are 1 year payment plan, some are 2 year payment plan, depending on how expensive or
the property is.
Yeah, so that's another way that you can pay. In the layman's language, they'll say pay small.
Installments.
You pay it small,
Hmm.
and you become a property owner. When you don't have the
there's large sum to drop at once.
So that's one of the ways to own a property by paying in a payment plan. Then another way to own a property is through a mortgage facility. Mortgage is usually a loan given by a bank to the investor. But before that mortgage is given, you will have to go
there are
through
criteria that you need to meet.
Criteria like they will check your salary, like how regular do you get paid. They will check your bank slips, like your bank statement, to check that does this person get paid.
Gets okay.
Yeah, then your ID card, place of employment, and all that, because it's from those sources. Then your home address, then probably some utility bills.
So they just want to know that okay, you are a real person. You are able, you are capable to actually pay back this, even if it's in installments, in bits.
Yeah. So, like in Nigeria now, I know of a mortgage that allows you to do up to 15 years. 15 years payment. You pay an initial deposit, or the bank, when you meet the criteria of that, the mortgage bank, the bank starts to pay for you.
Then you would be paying back to the bank.
Yes, the investor is going to be paying back to the bank small. While over time, like 15 years, they'll be deducting from the salary of the person.
Okay.
Deducting from salary of the person.
So that's two. So one, you can pay small by going with a payment plan. If the property you want to acquire has that payment plan. Otherwise, you can go the route of mortgage, where you approach a bank, but for that one you need a certain kind of, you have to have the criteria from the bank to be able to leverage that. So what other ways?
Then another way is with the cooperative style.
And I really think that this is the one that you should pay attention to if you are in this category of people, like an SME owner or a business owner yourself, a freelancer. I think this is the one that we should pay attention to. That's the cooperative. That's coming together.
Yeah, the cooperative is whereby as little as 10, it could be 10, it could be 20, it could even be more than 20, depending on how expensive
the property you want to acquire. Okay.
Depending on how expensive the property is. Imagine maybe like a group of teachers. A group of teachers now want to own property in Dubai here. Like it's
like, is it possible?
Yeah, is it possible? Is it possible for a teacher? How much is the teacher earning? I don't know. An average teacher in Nigeria probably earns, I don't know, maybe 50k, 20k, 30k. Like, imagine teachers want to earn, they would have to be much. They would have to be much, and probably like, though some teachers, like maybe teachers that work in
private schools
like this Doen, all these expensive private schools like British international schools.
They earn well.
Those kind of teachers, if they come together as a cooperative, they can buy something in Dubai like that. They will be jointly contributing for it monthly, and probably they would register it under like a cooperative name. So they would be paying for it as a group. And in Dubai, I think once you do like 30%, some are 30%, 40% initial deposit. Once you do that 30 to 20.
To 40% initial deposit. You have access to the property.
You have access to the property, and and once you have access to the property, that means that property can now be put on
lease. Yeah. So the property starts to make money for you,
even when
you've not finished paying for it.
So that means they can even start using part of the money
that you are getting from renting it out to start to pay. Awesome.
Yeah, and it may not have been possible for those group of teachers
if they have to do it individually,
because one person may not have the power, the strength,
the capacity to afford
it. And it's not just teachers,
it's like average earners and big small business owners, seriously.
And even in Nigeria, for instance, people that are very, very low income earners that want to buy properties in strategic places, maybe like Lekki Expressway on the road. They want to buy estates on the road, or they want to buy something in Aja, Shongotedo, even Lekki Phase 1. You want a good property that that once you buy this property, it's going to appreciate, and then it's going to appreciate, and it can start bringing you money, rental income.
But let me cut you there. I understand for Dubai here, for example, like you said, I know that most of if it's not off plan, if the tower or the building is ready, then once you do that first 30%, 40% payment, you can actually start renting it out.
Yeah.
I know that for Dubai. Is it the same? Are there properties like that in Nigeria? Because what I know so far, before I left, is that when you pay for a property, you probably need to wait. Most times, if it's offsite, you have to wait for them to develop it, to build it. And if you're even buying it, you have to probably pay more or pay completely to be able to access it. So do we have properties like that in Nigeria, that if you pay a certain percentage, you can also start renting it out?
There are some properties like that. But it's not every developer that has that facility. I know a developer that does that in Yaba mainland area. That once you, in fact, I think he does as far as 15 years, 20 years
for the payment plan.
Yes. And you can move in. You can move in this apartment, and you can start even using it to pay back. Yeah, that facility is available. Yeah,
in Nigeria.
In Nigeria it's available, but it's not every developer that
has that offer.
Okay, yeah. And some people use this method to even own property in a big area. For instance, like maybe a group of teachers. Why am I mentioning teachers? Because we know it's a known fact that teachers are
the lowest paid. Averagely, when we talk of generally, yes.
Like a group of teachers say want to own land in maybe Chevron, or we want to own land. Though there are some places in Lekki Expressway that could be selling like 30 million, Abraham Adesoya 40 million. A group of teachers can come together and say that 20 of us want to own a plot in VGC. We want to own a plot of land in Abraham Adesoya, a place that is beyond their power. But because they came together as a cooperative, they came together as a group, and they jointly paid for that property. If they are 20, if they are 15, the 20 of them would jointly own that land. And where they would benefit from the land is if they could decide to build on it too, and build apartments. Or they can wait for some years
to appreciate.
For it to appreciate.
Then they sell it and split the profit.
So and without the synergy of coming together,
there is no way
they would never have owned that property. They would just be dreaming about it, thinking about it. It will never manifest in their life because they don't have the capacity. They can't afford it. But when they came together as a cooperative, in fact, the power of coming together is
really powerful.
Powerful.
I think in 2020, late 2020, so there's this convention that they do every year. Yeah, it's called Gold Convention, right? So they bring gold investors, stakeholders that are dealing in gold and foreign exchange together for that conference. And I was privileged to be one of the moderators in that particular 2020. And so I was interviewing some people that came in from Africa. It was from every part of the world, Russia, and in that particular year, I think it was the first time that Israel was even involved in this sector. So I was interviewing the African stakeholder that came there, and I remember interviewing somebody from Ghana, and I was asking the same question, because I noticed that the Indians they are so big on this cooperative thing.
Wow.
Everywhere, not just in Dubai, even in the UK, in the US, Australia, this is how they are able to own properties, own businesses, because they don't do it individually. Wow. They go as a group. So they see a property that is really nice, they call themselves together, we need to get our hands on it. They will bid for it as a group, get the best price, put money together, get it, do whatever it is they want to do, whether they they leave it to appreciate or they sell or they rent it out, and little by little like that, the more they're able to do that, the more they're able to gain individually, the more they get more capacity to now extend and now have their own individual properties, right? Yes. But I was asking the African person, and what he said to me was, it's difficult. We can't trust each other in Africa. That's the problem. Because when you even venture, one person out of 20, 3 people out of 20 will decide to now say, okay, maybe they pull out halfway, or they default in their payment, or they are not coming forth to say, okay, this is the agreement, but somebody will just come and just destroy the whole thing. What have you experienced anything like that when it comes to, I mean, you've been in the real estate industry, when it comes to cooperative like that, what's your take on your experience as per Africans? How do we handle that?
No, the thing about this cooperative is that for you to even enter cooperative with people, you have to be very, you have to be highly selective of the kind of people that you are bringing into the cooperative. You have to screen them. It's not everybody that you can bring into a cooperative.
Yeah.
You have to make sure that the person that wants to come into this cooperative, in fact, there may be a form for people to fill to screen them out, like knowing their income. Like they'll fill a form so that you know their income categories. Somebody that does not earn to a certain level might not be able to. Yeah, might not even be able to come in that he wants to buy certain properties, because it could be, some properties could be like an initial deposit of maybe $1 million or 500,000. I'm talking about Nigeria.
Yeah.
$1 million or 500,000. So if you don't have 500k,
then you should
or 300k, because depending on how many people are coming together, if you don't have it, you cannot come in. And if you don't have a regular stream of income, you are not sure that you can consistently get that amount every month. Then you are not there. Then in cooperatives, it's registered. Like there's a lawyer involved. Yeah, it's not by mouth. It's not by mouth. If you are doing a cooperative, a lawyer will be there. It's going to be registered under a business name. It's going to be registered under a business name. There will be agreements that to be signed. Yeah. There will be rules and regulations. Rules and regulations for people that default. Yeah. There's a certain charge. Even there are rules of replacing somebody that pulls out, and there's a penalty of pulling out too. Better. That's a good one. And there might be an administrative fee that is charged to you that is pulling out, so that all those things discourages. By the time to pull out. Yeah, it discourages people pulling out, or even when you read it, you will know that you know what you're getting into, so that you will know whether this is for you or not. A lawyer is involved that signs agreement. There's terms and conditions to read and understand before you even enter, so that when you can't just decide and just do what you want. All the group members agree on it, on the paper terms, before it even begins. Absolutely. So that's what controls it. Okay. And it's not everybody that fits into it as well. An unemployed person should not have any business. You don't have any business saying you want to own, you want to enter real estate or cooperative when you don't even have the money. Where will you get the money? So you must make sure that you have a regular source of income before you start thinking investment. And that's another thing that I feel like a lot of, especially young people who are even coming into the online space, because we have a lot of people coming into the online space that the online space is a place where you can make money quick and all of that. But the truth is, in a way, sometimes you need to consistently have that inflow for you to think investment. Yes. If there is no consistent inflow of funds for you yet, don't think investment. Think of getting consistent income. Yes. And then maybe saving. Saving.
Then when you now have consistent savings, you can then start to say, okay, how can I now invest part of my saving into this? Because I see a lot of young people making that mistake, and because the offer to do this kind of investment is very juicy, right?
Very
and
juicy.
they don't want to miss. They feel like, oh my God, if I miss it now, I'm going to die. But the truth is, you cannot maintain it.
Though I found out that in advanced countries in the world, some people take a loan
to invest.
Some people take loan to buy property and invest in property, and because they are seeing it that the property has a way of returning immediately,
turnover, okay,
of bringing turnover, so they put in that initial deposit, then they start using that
turnover to pay back the loan.
In fact, abroad it's easier.
With credit cards and stuff like that, right?
Because I have a sister-in-law that just bought a house in Canada, and I found out that it was 25 years
payment plan. Oh wow!
Mortgage, she took mortgage, and there's a 25-year payment plan. Imagine 25 years. So it's easier in advanced countries to own
properties. Because there are different plans.
Yeah, though in Nigeria, there are some mortgages that is 15 years or 20 years, but it's not everybody that can qualify for mortgage.
Exactly.
Everybody does not qualify for mortgage because you can't collect a mortgage when the bank
also do their own check-ins and be sure that you fit in
that you have a source of income that they can be deducting to pay back the loan. And there's interest too.
Yeah, to think about. Wow. Okay, so now we've heard it. First one is you can go for payment plans for properties that you see that have payment plans and it fits into your budget. Number 2 is you can get a mortgage. And number 3 is cooperative. So sometimes you don't need to wait or carry the whole weight of paying for that property alone. If you have like-minded people who you know are trustworthy, right, ready to invest, in need for the long haul, you can come together to be able to contribute towards owning a property. So that way you are not missing out completely on real estate and getting money, but at least you are doing it as a group, and it actually kind of helps you ease the burden but also fast track your way into owning a property and making more money. Are there any other ways that people can, people who don't have consistent large chunk can actually benefit from real estate?
Okay, there are some other cooperatives where people do, like they call it ajo. Contribution, yeah. Like if you are part of a cooperative ajo kind of thing, like that, maybe in a part every month one person
collects the chunk of money.
There are some that you collect like 10 million, some you collect 1 million. So it depends on the amount. That amount can be used to also buy a property like that, because maybe, for instance, let's say it's 1 million now, for instance, that you get every month, and maybe that person just is 100,000 is putting in every month into that contribution. So he can use his own contribution to buy a property in the range of that 1 million. So, or depending on how big it is, because I know some people do like 1 million every month, and there will be a time it will just be 10 million they will get, and they can use that, and there are properties of 10 million.
So when it's your turn to get your contribution, you can use a lump sum to invest in.
So that's another way cooperative is helping people
own properties. So fantastic. All right, awesome. Okay, so this is what we're talking about today. How can SMEs, people who do not currently have a lump sum to invest in properties, how can they actually benefit from real estate? Because real estate is here to stay, and it is one sure way of securing your investment. But not everybody at the stage that they are at can actually afford a land or a property or a house. But we're saying that if you can explore any of these avenues, you can actually plug into real estate. Start from where you are. whether you can check out, properties that have payment plan, and if it fits into your budget, then go for it. There is nothing wrong with that. Or you can get a mortgage if you qualify with your mortgage bank to be able to get a mortgage for your property. And thirdly, which is one of the biggest, and I feel like we can actually look into as small business owners, actually just see, I'm sure, even if it's not, because at the end of the day, like I said, real estate is real estate. It is like 80% sure that you will have ROI on your investment when you do it on real estate. So it's about looking at where can you start from, where you are today. So maybe, for example, let me talk to people in Nigeria. If you are in Lagos is quite on the high side. So you can gather your friends together or your people together for the cooperative and go to another part of Nigeria that is not as expensive as Lagos, but also still has that sure banking.
No, funny
right?
enough, there are affordable places in Lagos too, like Mowe or Fada. Mowe
is not Lagos.
or like Accra.
Ekpe is not Lagos now. It's already outside of Lagos. When you talk of Lagos, you're talking about Lekki, Chevron, Ikeja, Magodo, Baga. When you're talking about this Mowe, you're already sipping into other states. So that's what I'm saying, like, you can actually look at those places that are not main Lagos, but close to Lagos. So even Ibadan is good, and is also coming up now. So
Ibadan, Ikorodu,
Ekpe. Exactly. So you can look into
border towns.
Yes.
Lagos, like
Badagry.
Badagry.
Yes.
Where there's Channel's office too.
So you can start to look at those places.
Ojodubega sites.
All those places are already K2, Ojota, they're already they're doing like this. Their prices are coming up this. So you can go to places that their prices is still, upcoming, like developing places, because like I've always heard from real estate moguls that I know, it's like you don't buy real estate, you don't wait to buy real estate, you buy real estate and wait, right? So you can go to the outskirts and look at the ones that your contribution can acquire for you and start from there, because no matter what, no matter how far into the bush that land is, by the time you give it some time, it is going to appreciate, and when it does, you're going to be happy that you were able to plug into it. So don't wait until you have a very, very large sum. If you have a land in Ibadan that is 10 million right now, that is 1.5 million, I'm sure you can still see a land in Ibadan that is like 1.4, maybe like 4 million. If it's 4 million, at least you can come together, 20 of you, put something together to get that land in Ibadan, and then wait for it to appreciate, and then sell it off and you get something. All right? Thank you so much, Dr. Laide, for being here today.
You're welcome.
What would be your last word for anybody who is thinking real estate, but I'm not sure, should I do it, should I not do it? What would you say to that person?
What I would say is, real estate is one of the avenues where 70 to 80% of the world's millionaires, even billionaires, have that they are wealthy today. And real estate is a source of transgenerational wealth. Like this apartment we are in right now, I'm sure it's someone that owns it or a family that owns it. And imagine the kind of money or wealth the person is making from when people use this place. They pay rental income. It's a passive income that once they've made investment, they are not working, but their investment is working for them. So it's something that is going to go on from generation to generation. A father can transfer it to his son, his son to his own son. So it benefits your generation. It gives financial security, passive income, and this is, if you want this, I think it's something you should strive to get, either through saving or coming together. That's what I would say. Like there's a property that fits everybody's category. Because anybody that can buy iPhone, if people are buying phones, if everybody is using a phone, I'm sure almost everybody uses a phone now. If every adult can afford phone, that even in Nigeria, I heard that there is something called easy easy buy where you pay a certain amount and they deduct from you monthly. If people are doing that for phones,
why not for
why
land?
not for land? And an average iPhone or Samsung phone, it's almost the cost of land. But the only thing is that most people don't make it a priority, and they find out that their rent, what they pay for rent, it's in fact, some people pay rent that can buy them properties, but they are not just, they didn't just have the awareness or make it a priority. Some people pay rent of 8 million, 10 million every year. And it's something that
you can actually do a down payment and do the mortgage thing or payment plan, and you actually pay, instead of paying rent, you are paying for your house until you. It's like car hire, hire purchase.
Yeah. So it's just about priority. Everybody can own a property depending on their budget or capacity. If they make it a priority, everybody can actually own a property.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Dr. Laide, for being here today. Guys, this is where we draw the curtain on this particular episode. We've talked about how you as an SME or a small business owner or a freelancer, a solopreneur can actually plug into real estate, regardless of the fact that right now you don't have a large sum of money. So you can subscribe to our channel here on YouTube, or you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Teacher, Breaker, Amazon Music, or Anchor FM as well. You can listen to us there. So if you're yet to subscribe to this YouTube channel, please do subscribe today, and tell a friend to tell another friend, to tell the other friend that the Afrocentrics podcast has amazing content for you, and you don't want to enjoy it alone. So tell somebody to tell the other person to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Until I come your way again with another content on any of our segments. By the way, we have 4 different segments. We have Business Monday, Discovery Tuesday, The Woman, Her Story, Her Impact on Wednesdays, Thursday live sessions, and Fridays, right? So we have different segments for you, whatever appeals to you, whether business, whether fun, whether discovery, whether you're a woman who needs to be celebrated and who has a story to share. We have something for you. So join us on the Afrocentrics podcast next week. God bless you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.